What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Good Success Quick Tips. I am Josh Culler, and with me again I've got Tom Olson, and today he's going to give his top 10 books, and these are, I assume, mostly business books, but also could be self-help stuff, and I haven't seen the list, so maybe even some marketing stuff. I know that he has been studying marketing a lot recently, but I'm excited to hear these. I know a lot of these books are going to be ones that I have personally already read. He has the company read a book every quarter, and it's always books that are just like helpful in every way possible. So I'm gonna let him take it away. Tom, we're gonna start with number 10, right? And then work our way down, and just
we can do that, no problem.
We're gonna have them all linked below, by the way, so you guys can go purchase those on
Thank
Amazon directly. So check out the description below if you're interested in one of the books.
Yeah, so I believe reading is super important. I believe that all readers, I should say all leaders are readers. Not necessarily all readers are leaders, but all leaders are readers. And I think that if you want to get ahead, you have to know something that you don't know, and you'll change your life by the people you hang around and the books you read. And so just like Josh said, we do this at our company. So at our company, we have everybody read at least one book every quarter, and then every Monday we get together and we kind of discuss we discuss the book. What did you guys get out of those 2 chapters maybe that you guys read that week? Now, I mean, I try to read at least a book a week, and sometimes it stretches it out to about a book every 2 weeks. But I know that if I can try to read a book a week, it's about 50 books a year that I can get, and that's a lot of new knowledge. And so a lot of times I'll go back and reread. Like for instance, the number 3 one, we reread this year. We're actually doing that one right now. So I'm just gonna start with number 10 and just give you just a quick overline. It's not gonna be a book review, but just a little bit of each book, just kind of like my key point maybe. So E-Myth is really my number 10, and I can say E-Myth has like all these different books. E-Myth for realtors, E-Myth for entrepreneurs, E-Myth for real estate professionals, or whatever. There's so many E-Myths. E-Myth Revisited. I don't care which one it is. It's kind of like Rich Dad Poor Dad. Just pick one up and read it. It basically what it ends up saying is you want to make sure you have a business that runs itself. You want to have a business that's a real business, and that's the difference between a small business owner and a big business owner's mindset, is the way that they set their business up. So that you set it up in a way that you can walk away if you want to. Doesn't mean you have to, but you can walk away if you want to. So that's number 10. Number 9, and again, I had a super hard time getting this down to 10 because I like a lot of different books. There's so many books that I like to put on this top 10 list. I actually made a top 20 list, and I had to squeeze it down to top 10. But the next, I brought 2 books in because I feel like they kind of go together, and it's The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team by Patrick Lencioni, and he has Ideal Team Player, and they really do a little bit play off each other, and they really do talk about the team concept within a culture and what type of people you want to have, and that the key thing underlying the whole business is trust. If you really trust people, like, you'll leave them alone. If they really trust you, then they won't have a bunch of questions, and they won't always be questioning you because they trust you. Ideal Team Player goes into the type of people that you want to have on your team, and it's really humble, hungry, and smart. So humble, people that are honest, people that have humility, people that don't think that they know it all. Hungry, people that want to work hard. They wake up ready to work, and they're always striving for excellence. They're always striving to do better. And smart, people that just sometimes, in business, it's like some people are just dumb, and you don't want those people on your team. So I promise you. The next one is a book I just read, and this could be a life-changing book for many people. It's called What Matters Most, and it really dives into all the stuff that we're doing all day. Even our business sometimes, like, does it really matter at the end of the day? Sometimes we put so much stress on ourselves, and we think and focus on things that don't really matter. And I think at the end of the day, I think you need to make sure that you are doing what you feel like your purpose is here on life. It also talks about when your values are such, and you're living your life that isn't really what you say your values are, like, there's always this internal struggle. Yeah. And I think that's a really good book, and I would highly recommend it. The next one, probably, I have 2 marketing books, and I don't think the other one made the list. The other one, I'll actually just mention it real quick. It's called Traction. It's not Traction by Gino Wickman. It's another book called Traction, and it talks about the 19 traction channels in which you can get traction, or you can get leads, basically. But the 22 Immutable Laws of Marketing is probably my favorite marketing book out there, and I think every business is marketing. It doesn't matter, and every person in your business is marketing. I don't care if it's finance, I don't care if it's operations, if it's sales. Everybody in some way, shape, or form is marketing your product.
Well, and the 22 Immutable Laws of Branding, which we have talked about a little bit, I've read that book, and like both of these books came out like a decade ago.
Yes,
but they're immutable laws, so they haven't changed. Like the book is just, it's crazy. I mean, 10 years later, even longer than that, it's still extremely accurate.
You have to go after your customer. You have to help you have to be value add to your customer, and you need to make sure that you're really good at what you do.
Yeah, great book.
Extreme Ownership, a book. I don't think this book was very old. I think it's only been on a couple of years. But Jocko Wickman, and the guy he's a military guy, and really talks a lot about his tours and how taking extreme ownership on yourself, and a lot of this goes back to humility, like having enough humility to own your decisions. It doesn't it's mistakes, and it's even when you succeed, you know, like own the fact that you made that decision. And also, like, a key thing I learned there is communication lines within a business, or within, again, maybe if you're in war, like you have to have major communication, and it's just as important to communicate up as it is to communicate down the chain of command. Also,
don't give away too much there, because we have a podcast.
Okay, well
they need to go
Extreme
check out the
Ownership is
podcast.
a really good book. I promise you. I enjoyed it. The next one I will say is Traction. So Traction by Gino Wickman. A lot of our business is run off of the EOS, or the Entrepreneur Operating System. I don't subscribe 100% to everything Gino says, but I think Traction is it's my number 4 book. And right along with Traction, like if you're going to read Traction, I think you need to read Rocket Fuel right after that. So just so you kind of understand. A lot of people read Traction and they're like, I need to go find an integrator, and then they have no idea what that relationship looks like, and they try to do it themselves maybe, and they need help. So I make sure that you read those two together, and I would read Traction first because it kind of leads into what you might need an integrator. Number 3 is a book that I'm rereading right now, but our whole company is reading, and in my opinion, maybe one of the best business books I've ever read, and I think it's something that people really ought to pay attention to and read if you haven't read it, is the book called Good to Great. And really, our company is called Good Success, so like in a way, I even want to fight the whole great, but I think the principles definitely apply, and it really talks about having, like, I think in chapter 4, chapter 5 talks about having a hedgehog concept, where like you are super good at this thing, and make sure that you have that concept first in your brain, and make sure that you're super good and you're adding that value to somebody in a specific, very dialed in way. Before you go out and do a bunch of other things. But being good to great is the companies that what he said were good to great just had skyrocketing growth during the times where they went from good to great. It also talks about, like, sometimes it's easier for a company to go good to great when they weren't so good to begin with. Like, they can't have that massive growth. There's a lot of different awesome book, you know, Good to Great. Number 2. So number 2, and this is a book that I'll tell you, like, if you want to get anywhere in life, and you're not getting there, like, you need to read this book. It is The Compound Effect, and it basically talks about your daily disciplines and your daily life, the things that you do on a daily basis that are really small is what really makes a big difference. So it talks about the compound effect of compounding. So when you're working out, for instance, your body, something I need to get back into shape a little bit better next year. You know, like, so waking up every morning at a certain time and working out and reading and all those things, like, they have a huge long-term effect. And if you look at it over a 20-year span, like, you might not think that a 15-minute-a-day decision makes a huge difference, but over 20 years, it makes a massive amount of difference. So it's kind of like a snowball, you know, like, snowball starts really small, but as it keeps getting momentum, it's just ginormous. And I cannot recommend that book enough. In my opinion, if I can get somebody to read just the first 2 books that I have on this list, so the book I haven't mentioned and The Compound Effect, and you'll actually take action on those 2 things, it'll completely change your life, and I think you will be so much farther ahead in 10 years that you will come back and thank me and say, thank you for recommending those 2 books. And so without further ado, my number 1 book, and my favorite book in the entire world, really, other than the Bible, is The Go-Giver. And it's a super easy read. It's probably one of the easiest business books you'll ever read, but it really talks about the whole concept of you have to make sure that you bring value to the marketplace. Right now, a lot of people are talking about Bitcoin, and I'm like, no, like I will not even gamble.
You don't want to get on a roller coaster?
No, I don't. To me, it's just gambling. I mean, at this point, it's not worth anything. People will pay for it, whatever, but it doesn't bring any value to anybody's life. Nobody needs it. There's nothing it's not backed by anything. At least our currency or our money is backed by the United States government, which again, like you can have your own opinion about that, but Go-Giver really talks about making sure that whatever you're doing in life and in business is a value add first. You have to give first. You have to, for instance, you have to put wood into a fire in order to get heat. You have to put money into a bank before they'll give you interest. You can't just expect the bank to give you interest and say, well, I'll give you money later. And a lot of people in life think that's how it is. Especially the millennial generation, and don't get me wrong, I have tons of millennials that work for me, but for some reason in that generation, they think that they are supposed to get paid a whole lot of money before they actually bring value to the marketplace. So read Go-Giver, it's my #1 book.
Absolutely, and I would suggest that to all millennials, because I am a millennial, and reading this book did change my life, so it's definitely good #1. Good #1.
So 2018 is coming up right around the corner. Get a couple of his books if you haven't read them, and let me know what you guys think.
Now, you don't have an excuse for not reading books and not knowing what books to read. You got a list of 10 of them right here. Take your time and read these, and make sure you guys go check out the links below, because we'll have every single book linked so that you guys can purchase them on Amazon if you're interested in it. And then also read the reviews on Amazon and see if it's something that you guys would really enjoy. And that's it. So Tom, thank you for sharing that with us. We appreciate it. And if you guys are not already, make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube channel or our Facebook page, however you're watching this video. Make sure you give this video a big thumbs up if it brought you value. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.